Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Jake Talks Star Wars, and today we are talking some Star Wars news. Today is Monday, October 20th, and so most of this news is coming from last week, and I recorded this on Sunday, so if anything dropped Sunday night or Monday morning and it's not in here, that's why. So, just some basic stuff that I went over, some stuff I thought was really interesting. I saw some news about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out next summer, and I saw some snippets from an interview with Jeremy Allen White, where he is talking about his role in the Mandalorian and Grogu. Jeremy Allen White is a television actor. He's very famous for a bunch of roles in shows like The Bear, I believe, and a few others. I haven't watched them. I need to. I haven't watched them yet. But by all accounts, he's a very skilled actor. I see him everywhere, and it's pretty good. And so seeing him come into the Star Wars world, I think, is really neat. And it's interesting, right? Because he's a young guy. He's a really fit young guy. Having him play the voice of a Hutt is a choice, is an interesting choice. And so I think it's going to speak a lot to the personality they want for this Hutt. It's been all but confirmed that the Hutt that he is voicing is Jabba the Hutt's son, Rotta the Hutt, whom many of you will remember from the Clone Wars, from those early episodes, early movie of the Clone Wars, where Rotta is kidnapped, and Anakin and Ahsoka have to get him back and return him to Jabba, lest Jabba and the Hutt cartels turn to the CIS. So, seeing this character return, tying it back to Clone Wars, tying it back to the Clone Wars movie, of all things, I think is really interesting. And it tracks, Dave Filoni, this is kind of his sandbox, the stuff that he's working with, the stuff that he worked on. So it kind of tracks. And I'm going to be really interested to see how this unfolds. Rotta is in the trailer, and he does not look like a typical Hutt. He looks kind of more muscular and more fit, and he definitely looks like he's doing something more active. He looks like he's fighting in an arena of some sort. It almost reminds me, I think the comic character was one called Gracchus the Hutt, who was like this super buff, like jacked Hutt. And I don't think he's quite as buff or jacked as Gracchus, but it looks like he's getting close. According to Jeremy Allen White, he has been in the role and recorded for the role. He didn't do any kind of motion capture or anything on set, but he recorded his voice for the role. I think he made reference to recording with Pedro Pascal at some points. So, and he also said that his character interacts with Pedro Pascal's character, interacts with the Mandalorian, and they, quote, run around together. So whatever the story is, it involves Mandalorian, Din Djarin, interacting with Rotta somehow. I really hope they're not like doing this whole like almost like a recycle of the Clone Wars movie, where it's like he's been kidnapped and he has to get them back, or he's getting them he's been kidnapped and he has to get him back, or it could be something a little bit different where the other Hutts want him back. They want to bring him back into the fold, and he doesn't want to be part of the family business. Who knows? I sure don't. The other Hutts are in the movie too, or potentially in the movie. The twins from the Boba Fett series are shown in the poster for the movie, so them having a role should be expected. So what their role is, how they're going to interact with Rotta, how they're going to interact with Mandalorian, I have no idea. Do I want this to connect to Boba Fett? Yeah, I was one of the people that liked the Boba Fett series. I really enjoyed it. So I would love to see it connected to that more often. And I would love even more to see Temuera Morrison return to the screen and return to his role as Boba Fett. Supposedly, Temuera Morrison has said that he has not received a phone call, that he is not a part of this movie. I hope that's not true. I hope it's a distraction. I hope that he is a part of this movie, at least insofar as that part of the storyline is concerned. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see how this plays out. I'm excited to see this interaction between Rotta and Mandalorian and how the Hutts fit into things. And how they fit into things kind of in the broader sense. Like, Are they maybe interacting with some Imperial warlord and helping some Imperial warlord out? And Mando has to suss that out and shut that down. And that's his contribution to this larger fight against these Imperial remnants. Who knows? Who knows? But should be pretty interesting. I'm excited for it. That's coming next year, next May. And we're going to start to see more and more news about Mandalorian and Grogu coming up here in the next few months, right? As these actors interview for other projects, as they interview for other projects, people aren't going to be able to help themselves but to ask about the big Star Wars movie they're doing. So that's going to be fun. And then, of course, I expect next spring, once we get through the holiday season, once we get through the holiday season and get through into probably April or March, March or April, we're probably going to start to see the press machine ramp up pretty significantly for this movie, because at that point it will be 10 years or more, or not 10 years, excuse me. At that point it will have been several years since Star Wars was in theaters. I think 7 years since Star Wars was in theaters at that point. So be a pretty important return to theaters. So I expect to see them ramp up that press machine pretty early next spring. So it should be a fun time. I know I'm looking forward to it. So next piece of news I want to talk about is the other major Star Wars project dropping next year. I'm very excited for next year. We're getting 2 major live-action Star Wars projects. Getting Mandalorian and Grogu in the summertime, and then we're going to have Season 2 of Ahsoka later in the year, hopefully in the fall-winter time frame is what I'm hoping. But Mary Elizabeth Winstead has given an interview. She's the actress who plays Hera. Fun fact, she's also, if you don't know this, she's also married to Ewan McGregor. So she's Obi-Wan Kenobi's real-life wife, which I think that's great. But she's been giving interviews, and she spoke a little bit about her role in Season 2 of Ahsoka, and she spoke about how her role in Season 2 was expanded, how it was a larger role than before, how it's broader than it was before, there's more to it than there was before, and she's very excited. She talks about her character being more important and her character having a lot more action in Season 2, which tracks for what we know about Hera and what her position in the galaxy is right now. For those of you who've watched Rebels, you know that Hera is the leader of her Rebel cell all the way through the Rebels series. And then if you followed Hera after that, you know that eventually she becomes a general in the Alliance. Eventually, she fights at the Battle of Endor, and she's going to participate as a New Republic officer, as a general. She's in Season 2, she's commanding, I think, Home 1. I think the actual main starship we see in Return of the Jedi, she's the commander of that in Season 2 of Ahsoka. Prior to that, she's in command of multiple different ships during like the Alphabet Squadron movies, or during the Alphabet Squadron books, or during the Squadrons game, the video game. She's a part of that game as well. So she plays a big role in fighting the Empire post Return of the Jedi as well. And I think with Thrawn returning, to the galaxy in Season 2, I think we're going to see her have a pretty large role in resisting and fighting against Thrawn, because she has experience fighting Thrawn. Right? She fought against Thrawn before the Battle of Yavin. She fought against Thrawn for Seasons 3 and 4 of Rebels. So she knows a little bit about him. She can offer insight and experience, whether she's commanding the ships, whether she's working in concert with Admiral Akbar. We don't know yet. But that definitely tracks for what we know about that character and what that character has already done in some of the projects that have been made since Rebels came out, and as we move towards this new season. So definitely tracks with what we know about her character and what her character should be doing. So I'm very excited for that, because what that probably means is space battles. And we're going to hopefully see some great space battles. That's what Dave Filoni promised in Celebration earlier this year. And that's what we want to see, right? Give the people what they want. We want space battles. We want wars in our Star Wars. I would love to see some E-Wings from Season 1 of Ahsoka make an appearance as as fighters against, whatever TIE fighters and whatever else. I would love to see some E-Wings, X-Wings, Y-Wings, a whole bit in the mix. I think it's a lot of fun, potentially. And again, that's what the people want. I just hope they can pull it off in a way that we're all going to be pleased for a television show that's going to be big enough, but still leave room for that movie that's supposed to be coming down the pipe, right? There's supposed to be another movie like coming up after this that's like a finale to all this Mandoverse stuff. So whatever we see next year is not going to be the finale that ties it all together. It's going to set that up. So it's going to be big, but not as big as we probably want. So we'll see what happens. Next piece of news I want to go into, just a little bit of channel news, right? A little bit of channel news for those of you who do watch the channel regularly, and it seems like there are at least a few of you, which is awesome. I appreciate you guys. Yesterday, Sunday, I posted my last review for Star Wars Rebels Season 1. I reviewed the finale of Star Wars Rebels, and I hope you guys enjoyed my discussions of Season 1 of Rebels. I recorded several at a time. If you can't tell, I was always wearing the same shirt. But I had a fun time going through Season 1 of Rebels again. I watched a few episodes with my daughter. It was a lot of fun. But moving forward, this week, taking a little bit of a step back from reviews of shows. This week's going to be news, and then I'm also planning on posting less. I was posting every day for a while, and that was good. It worked out well because I had a lot I wanted to say for a while there, but I think I'm going to have to start pulling back just a little bit and giving each video a little bit more time to breathe. So this week you're only going to see a couple of posts, one on Monday, today. I might do a Wednesday and a Friday. I haven't decided yet, but probably going to cut it back down to maybe 3 a week, and then the weekends we'll see what happens for breaking news or anything like that. We'll see what happens. So a little bit of channel news in that role. What am I moving into this week? Well, today was a news video. Later this week, I do want to talk a little bit about a couple of things. I did watch some episodes of the Clone Wars for my own enjoyment, and I have some thoughts about the Clone Wars in general that I might post about later this week. And then I also want to go over some books. I might do an Aftermath. I might talk a little bit about Aftermath, Star Wars Aftermath, later this week. I might post that later this week because I finished reading the Aftermath books again recently. So I might want to go over those as well. And then moving forward, the next big show I'm going to review is Kenobi. I'm going to review the Kenobi series. I watched the Kenobi series again last week. Just kind of watched it, binged it all the way through. It's an easy show to binge. It's only 6 episodes, I think. It's a really easy show to binge. So I kind of binged it over the course of about a day and a half, and then I'm going to go back and watch each episode and kind of take notes and do reaction reviews to the Kenobi episodes. So that'll be starting probably this weekend, probably early next week, but that's coming. And that's the big stuff, guys. I'm still working towards Star Wars Celebration. I'm still working towards getting there in April of 2027. I'm very excited. Super excited for that. I cannot wait to get out to California, to get out to LA and see that. And yeah, that's it for today. So thanks a lot for coming. Thanks for listening. Remember, take care of each other out there. And as always, may the Force be with you. Bye-bye.